Just keep the feeling irate. I'm gonna keep on playing drum. You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 2 o'clock.
Both sides of the story, linking Jamaicans in the diaspora with Jamaicans of like mind in Jamaica.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Connecting the Jamaican diaspora abroad and at home.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story, highlighting the positive role of the Jamaican diaspora. Sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Time now for both sides of the story on Power 106 FM. We will not take sides, but we listen to your side. Join us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the experts, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on both sides of the story. 922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114, and 922-4115. You can listen to both sides of the story on the Gleaner's website, www.skill-jamaica.com, on your mobile phones at tunein.com or nobex.com, or by dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145, and in Germany, 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Could great men thunder as Jove himself does? Jove would ne'er be quiet, for every pelting petty officer would use his heaven for thunder, nothing but thunder. Merciful heaven, thou rather with thy sharp and sulphurous bolt splits the unwedgeable and gnarled oak than the soft myrtle. But man, proud man, dressed in a little brief authority, most ignorant of what he's most assured, his glassy essence, like an angry ape, plays such fantastic tricks before high heaven as makes the angels weep, who, with our spleens, would all themselves laugh mortal.
How many roads must a man walk down before they call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years must a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? How many years must one man have before he can hear people cry? How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
Those who expect to be ignorant and free expect what never was and never will be.
How many roads must a man walk down before they call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years must a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? How many years must one man have before he can hear people cry? How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Blowing in the Wind by Peter, Paul, and Mary. Before that, a quotation from Thomas Jefferson. Those who expect to be ignorant and free expect what never was and never will be. And at the very start, Act 2, Scene 2, Measure for Measure by William Shakespeare. The words of Isabella. Act 2, Scene 2, Measure for Measure by William Shakespeare. The words of Isabella. Could great men thunder as Jove himself does, Jove would ne'er be quiet, for every pelting petty officer would use his heaven for thunder, nothing but thunder. Merciful heaven, thou rather with thy sharp and sulphurous bolt splits the unwedgeable and gnarled oak than the soft myrtle. But man, proud man, dressed in a little brief authority, most ignorant of what he's most assured, his glassy essence, like an angry ape, plays such fantastic tricks before high heaven as makes the angels weep, who with our spleens would all themselves laugh mortal. It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and 2022 marks the start of the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the 28th and final day of the second month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. February is African American History Month, also known as Black History Month, celebrated not just in the United States, but also Canada, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and elsewhere. It's Andalusia Day in Spain, Peace Memorial Day in Taiwan, and here in Jamaica, it's the final day of Heart Month and Reggae Month 2022. Hoy es lunes, el 28 de febrero 2022, y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos.
How many years must a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
C'est lundi le 28 février 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutent où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
Walk into Marjan's Pharmacy and you will feel better. The service is clearly different. Marjan's Pharmacy, call 876-703-6335. The time by Marjan's Pharmacy is 2:15.
Singers, songwriters, and producers, it's your time to join greatness and history. Be a part of the exciting Diamond Jubilee Jamaica 60 celebrations. The internationally acclaimed Jamaica Festival Song Competition is now accepting entries. Add to the historic movement of the competition. Join the ranks of notable artists such as Roy Ryan, Toots and the Maytals, Bushu Banton, and Statius. Record your original song, upload and submit your entry. Visit the JCDC website or our social media pages or any JCDC parish office for details.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
All we're saying is it's Monday, the 28th and a final day in the month of February 2022. And we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted, because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you've downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free. Listening is free whenever, wherever. We thank you if you're from one of the two countries where you get a number to dial to listen to Power 106 FM. Those in the United Kingdom who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 0330-606-0953. 0330-606-0953. If you're in the United States and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 631 359 8281. 631 359 8281. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. How about that? If you don't have a Facebook account, there's always YouTube. YouTube is wide open. All you need is a device, a not so smart device, a smart device, smartphone, laptop, computer, desktop, otherwise known as a PC, personal computer, tablet computer, any one of those. And you need internet connection with connectivity, because ever so often you connect, or you think you connect, you have connection, but no connectivity. That's important. The connectivity is what is important. It's like having a pipe and you have the pipe there, but there's no water coming from it, but you have a pipe. Right. So we look forward to your full participation. After all, it is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. The numbers to call, 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. It's a Monday, and that means Land Solutions. That's coming up not too long from now. In the meantime, we welcome your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions, your views, your issues, your recommendations, your suggestions, your musings, whatever is on your mind. Looking forward to your full participation on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We have a call coming through already on our WhatsApp line, 876-365-3346. It's the same as the text line, 876-365-3346. Let's say hello. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. How are you doing?
I'm giving thanks for life. How are you?
I'm doing the same.
Good.
All right. I will listen to Simon Crosskill and Carla Little Baker, man. And I think the topic was, if he's a public servant and them investigating the public have a right to know. But I think Mr. Simon said in Jamaica, they won't make the public know because they say something private. Is that true?
They're talking about the Integrity Commission.
Yeah, so why we the public, they won't give us information?
No, I think the sticking point is that aspect of the act that constitutes the Integrity Commission. There's a section of it which speaks to keeping the people's identity private until or unless that person is charged or otherwise called out, and then it becomes public, because the thinking is that when somebody's reputation is tarnished and the truth comes out, so to speak, that's not even good enough to repair somebody's character, somebody's reputation. The damage would have already been done. So you come out and you say no adverse trace, or let's say while you're doing the investigation, you say we are continuing our investigations to identify whether there are any adverse traces with respect to this individual. So straight away, you plant a seed of doubt with respect to that individual's character, that individual's integrity, that individual's reputation. Now, when the investigation is through, and you find that there was no adverse trace, there was nothing out of line for that person, that person can't, repairing one's reputation is perhaps one of the toughest, if possible at all, because people will always remember you by that. And so the thinking is, let us get it straight first before we go public. And I think there's a story, where was I reading? There's a story, here we go. There's a story in today's Gleaner, which references, it says, tug of war over integrity, gag order. That's how this section is described, in terms of it being a gag order, meaning they can't say, the members of the Integrity Commission can't say, can't disclose who is being investigated and for what, etc., until after the investigation, if there is some adverse trace. So apparently there's a recent ruling by the United Kingdom's Supreme Court against the publication of the identity of a person under investigation by a regulatory body. And the thinking is that this ruling could strengthen the government's insistence on maintaining that gag clause in Jamaica's Integrity Commission Act. And that's the word from Justice Minister Delroy Chuck.
All right, I see here, many times people charge, not even public official, any regular person. And sometimes them show them photo on the TV. Even they got to put some time and end up victorious. And I asked this question one time to the lawyer, why is it they show them face on TV when in charge? They say the rule is, once they put you across the TV, people in that area know that you're charged already. So next time you be careful or else you're going to face a serious consequence. But in Jamaica, they don't do that.
I don't know what you mean in Jamaica, they don't do that. You maybe are conflating two things. You're mixing up the everyday, whether the everyday criminal charge,
no,
or
what I do, whether you have
with the
person in the matter, once you face a certain charge, they bring you across the TV.
No,
so
but
see and know that.
Yeah, but this speaks to an investigation by a regulatory body, so that if you are supposed to comport yourself a particular way and conduct the affairs of state that you have duties for in a particular way, and you fail the litmus test, if you fail to demonstrate that there was no, I don't want to say hanky-panky, but that there was nothing, no act of impropriety. What you want to do, it doesn't, it wouldn't rise to the level. Usually it has, I'm choosing my words carefully, but usually what it has to do with is a breach. So for example, the Integrity Act that says you have to give an account of your income, and it must add up, so to speak. There mustn't be any adverse trace there. Once that investigation has started, the gag clause, the clause that says you can't disclose the investigation, will remain in place. It would only change in the instance where there is a confirmed evidentiary, supported by evidence, a confirmed instance of an adverse trace as far as this individual is concerned. But either way, it shouldn't be confused with someone being arrested, let's say someone being arrested and charged for having committed a crime, or someone being identified as a suspect in a crime. It's not they're not on the same level, if you're following.
Yeah, but I see. Okay, I see them investigate Father Chumper with some tax thing. And while them outline what happened, them are showing pictures same time.
Yeah, because it is a fact that there have long been questions about his own mouth, as they say, cock mouth kill cock. Some things have come from his mouth as well, which have provided information with respect to whether he has been following the laws of the land where taxes are concerned, or whether he has been using certain things to to manipulate the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have it. I'm sorry, we're constrained by time. Perhaps later on or another time we can pick this up, but we have to go to the break.
All right, so I will call back tomorrow. I have to go to work.
All right, have a good day at work.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. The National Irrigation Commission Limited encourages efficient irrigation practices and responsible use of water. By doing so, we will allow the aquifer to be recharged and keep the supply flowing. A message from the National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
It's Monday afternoon, just after 2:30, and that means time for Land Solutions. Land Solutions, where all your land-related matters are dealt with, anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. That's 876-922-4113, 4114, or 4115. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number. That's 876-881-5254. 876-881-5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. Facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road, in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at the Jamaica National Building upstairs, Shop 6, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. They encourage their customers or their clients and potential clients to call ahead instead of just turning up. In fact, those along the North Coast and elsewhere in that region, there is a lawyer on duty every Monday. I beg your pardon. Every Monday we're on duty here. Every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Every Thursday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. There's a lawyer on duty at the law firm Brown Findlay and Company, Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. The numbers to call the law firm Brown Findlay and Company, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. If you wish to call the Ocho Rios office, you can dial 876-974-6083. 876-974-6083. In a moment, your host on Land Solutions for today, attorney at law, Calicia Findlay.
Good afternoon, Dervan. Thanks as always, and good afternoon, listeners. This is another edition of Land Solutions. I'm your host for today, Calicia Findlay. Thanks as always for tuning in. I'll go straight to our text line. Have quite a few messages coming in already, and as Dervan just said, the text and WhatsApp number is 876-881-5254. I find this one.
In fact, before you go on, just the callers are ready for you.
No problem, Dervan.
Straight ahead.
Thanks, Dervan. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Lee.
Good afternoon.
I have a question. What I'd like to ask. So, for example, a property value. Alright. So, for example, somebody selling a property for 20 million, and when you go do the valuation say $10 million. What would be the next move on that?
The next move on your part would be to try to negotiate with the seller. Because if the property is valued at $10 million, clearly you don't want to pay more than $10 million for it. So you can try to negotiate. But the seller is under no obligation to sell it to you for $10 million. They can sell it for $50 million. They can sell it for anything they want to. So this is one of the reasons why we tell persons to do their checks before they pay over their deposit, before they sign the sale agreement.
Okay, then. Thank you, Mr.
You are welcome. Take care. So again, do we have another call, Dervan?
No, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No
you can go ahead.
Thanks, Dervan. So again, just to reiterate, this is why we urge clients to retain an attorney when buying or selling property, because we have to do our due diligence. What happens frequently when persons enter contracts for sale with an attorney, they come to us, the attorneys, when things have gone bad. And this is a case. This is a prime example of something that can go wrong. You enter a sale agreement to buy a property for $20 million. After you have signed the sale agreement, after you have paid your deposit, you do your valuation report, and then you find out it's only valued at $10 million. And I can't think of anybody who wants to pay $20 million for property that's worth $10 million. You know, sometimes there are margins of error in valuation. So if you're buying something for $10 million and the valuation comes back at 9.8 or 9.7, then we can give or take a couple $100,000. But if there's a $10 million disparity, that's an issue. So please do your checks before, because many people, they think that a seller has to sell them for what the property is valued. Absolutely not. The seller can sell it to you for $1. They can sell it to you for $100 million. When you are selling property, you go with whoever's willing to buy your property at whatever you want to sell it for. So can't stress it enough, please be careful. Again, our numbers to call in live on air, 876-922-41125. Dervan will correct me if I am wrong. And the text and WhatsApp number, 876-881-5254. Over to our text line. What role can witnesses to a will play if both executors died before completion of probate? It's a two-part question, and the second part, if there's only one witness to a will, can a lawyer play any role for the will to be valid? So the first question, what role can witnesses to a will play if both executors died before completion of probate? Excuse me. The roles of executors and witnesses are completely different. The executors are the persons in charge of carrying out the wishes of the deceased person. The executors are the ones who have all the power. They can sell property. The witnesses, they simply witness the deceased person's signature at the time they would be doing the will. So two completely separate roles. If your executors have started probate, they've made the application, and God forbid, they die before the completion of probate, the witnesses cannot then step in to take over the roles of the executors. The witnesses simply witness your signature. Now, depending on how far they were with the probate, you may have to do what we call administration de bonissement. It's a complicated term, which basically means you have to go in and administer the deceased person's estate again. So you may have to start all over from scratch. So witnesses cannot play the roles of executors. Now, on to the second part of the question. If there is only one witness to a will, can a lawyer play any role for the will to be valid? The answer is no. Why? Because if there is only one witness to a will, it is not a valid will. So for all intents and purposes, you could buy a will form, you follow the directions to the T, you sign it, and you have one person witness it, and you think you have a valid will. Unfortunately, no. You must have two witnesses to a will. So if you have a case like this where you have a will, where there's only one witness, it's not a will. So in this case, it cannot be probated. You would have to, or your administrators would have to apply to have the estate administered. So yes, it is not mandatory. It is not illegal. So you don't have to have a lawyer prepare your will, but it is strongly advised that you have legal representation, you have legal consultation when doing your will. Because you don't want to go and do your will on your own, only have it witnessed by one person, and then, God forbid, on your death, your relatives realize you don't have a will. And what I have also seen happen too is some persons, they just write a note and they say what they want to happen to their property when they die, and they sign it, but it's not witnessed by anyone at all. A lot of people think that's a will. No, again, that's not a will. For a will to be valid, it must be signed in the presence of two witnesses. You must have two witnesses. There's no way around that. And remember too, all three of you must sign together. So the person making the will must sign in the presence of witness 1 and witness 2. If the person making the will signs, and then he goes across the road to his neighbor and to have neighbor 1 be a witness, and then he goes across the other side of the street and he asks neighbor 2 to be a witness, it's not a valid will. All three must sign together. So please, if you have any doubt, consult an attorney. If you can't afford to consult an attorney, consider legal aid. You can also buy a will form in any bookstore or pharmacy, and the will form contains detailed instructions. So please, don't want to be in a case where you think you've made a will, only for your intended beneficiaries not to be able to get what it is that you wanted them to get. Again, our numbers to call in live on air, 876-922-411265. The text and WhatsApp line, I see the messages coming in, 876-881-5254. Email gloria@landsolutionsja.com. As always, you may send us a message on Facebook, that's facebook.com/landsolutions. And to call us in office, our numbers are 876-908-1950, 876-908-3518. The number for the Ocho Rios office is 876-974-6083. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. There is a retirement crisis in Jamaica, with approximately only 10% of the working population saving towards retirement. Many people, such as contract workers and the self-employed, do not participate in a formal pension plan, and some are not eligible for a government pension. Every member of the workforce has the opportunity to participate in a pension plan and secure a monthly income for their retirement. Join Real Business every Monday at 9:30 a.m. for an informative discussion with Peter Rose Hall, Managing Director of BPM Financial, discussing the importance of retirement planning and the solutions to move Jamaica out of this crisis. Retirement Wealth Creation is brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher.
You're listening to Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number on Land Solutions. The number is 876-881-5254. 876-881-5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead instead of just turning up at the offices of Brown, Findley and Company. For those along the North Coast, and more precisely in Ocho Rios, St. Anne and surrounding areas, here are some details you might want to take note of. There's a lawyer on duty at the Ocho Rios office every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Every Thursday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And if you wish to get in touch with the Ocho Rios office of Brown, Findley and Company, the number to call is 876-974-6083. 876-974-6083. Once again, here's attorney at law, Calicia Findley.
Thank you, Dervan. Over to WhatsApp. This is slightly lengthy, but just bear with me. Good afternoon. I'm living on property for a number of years, paying the lease, but for the last 4 years, we have not paid because we wanted some details of who owns the land and if the person has a title or not. But because we are not paying the lease, they are saying that we need to leave the property. Can the land be sold just like that? We were the ones who put the proposal to them about buying, and they said no, but now they want to sell because we didn't pay. So we asked for documents of ownership. Was that wrong to find out the details? Can they sell without a title? All right. Once you have, so it's absolutely not wrong for you to ask for proof of ownership. Let me get that out of the way. You should get proof of ownership. But even if you don't get the proof, well, let me back up a little bit. You really should not be leasing property without already not knowing who the owner is. So I think you were wrong from the get-go. And I know this is quite frequent with what we refer to as leased land or leased property in Jamaica. Many persons take up possession of property. Someone says they own the property. They start paying them money and they don't know anything about this person or their connection with the land. So again, you're not wrong in asking for proof of ownership, but you are wrong because you took up possession of the property without first knowing who the owner is. So you have not paid for 4 years because they have not shown you any proof of ownership. You cannot withhold lease or rent because you don't know the owner. And it's something that's actually quite common with tenants. You know, they may feel that the landlord has not done something that they should have done. They haven't fixed something, so they decide to withhold rent. You are now in breach of contract. If you have a growth with your landlord, take it up in court or with the rent board, but you can't withhold rent. And your next question is, can they go ahead and sell the property without a title? They can. If they find someone who's willing to buy, certainly they can go ahead and sell it. So again, you can't withhold rent because you don't know who the owner is. They can sell it. You are now in breach of your agreement.
We have another call for you, Calicia.
Thanks, Dervan. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, afternoon. How may I help?
Hello. Yes. My title, I make a mistake when I was buying the place. The name didn't spell correct. How can I get it correct?
You would have to do what we call an application to amend name.
Hello?
Hello, you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
You would have to do what we call an application to amend name. So without giving me your full name, just tell me what is the incorrect word on the title and what should be the correct.
Leave out the I. The I wasn't correct.
Okay, that's minor. So what you would do is do the application to amend name. It's a form that is completed, and we would send it into the titles office along with your birth certificate. And we ask them to make that correction. It's a simple application, and it takes about 3 to 4 weeks to be completed at the titles office.
Okay, so your number at the office is what?
All right, just keep listening, and I'll say the numbers. All right, so you can just hang up and keep listening.
Okay, fine.
All right, thanks for calling. Take care. Continuing with our messages. My father is getting old and forgetful. What can I do to protect him as I am overseas? Well, first, of course, you need to ensure that he is being properly taken care of. So make sure he has a friend, a relative, a nurse to take care of him. You can do a power of attorney, but you say that he is getting forgetful. I'm not certain how advanced or how severe it is, because if he is doing a power of attorney, or even a will for that matter, he has to be lucid. You don't want it to be where he does not have the capacity or he doesn't understand what he's signing, because if that's the case, then it can be challenged. So let us just say he still has his faculties and he's aware of everything that's going on. You can do a power of attorney, and that will give you control over his assets. You should also do a will to ensure that his wishes are taken care of and his estate is in order when he dies. Because remember that a power of attorney is last while the person is alive. As soon as someone dies, a power of attorney is no longer valid, and the will kicks in upon death. something just came together. I've seen it happen, especially with persons who live overseas. They send money to people, whether they're friends, family, an employee, could be a nurse, a helper, what have you. They send money to have someone, or they employ someone to take care of a relative. Usually someone with a disability or an elderly relative. In your case here, your father. And it's something you have to be careful about. Yes, I see sometimes where people are abused, but what I also see that's quite alarming is that, and I see especially with elderly men, where there's a young female nurse employed to take care of the person, what happens is that after the elderly man dies, his relatives are now realizing that while that person was supposed to be taking care of their elderly male relative, they married that person. It's a legitimate marriage, and you know what it is. You know, if you listen to us often enough, if someone is married and they don't have a will when they die, their spouse is entitled to most, if not all, of their estate. And also what happens, even if they don't get married, or even though they marry the person, there's always sometimes a will that miraculously appears, leaving everything to that person. So please be very careful. Be very careful. I see a message popping up. Is a marriage like this to an elderly person legal? It is actually. It is, unless you can prove that your elderly relatives didn't know what was happening, unless you can prove that they were coerced, then the marriage is legal. And you know, sometimes it happens where this caretaker is the only person they're seeing. They develop a bond. It could be genuine love. It could not be. I don't know. But in Jamaica, typically, once you say "I do," a marriage is valid and it is binding. So please be careful. And I know it's difficult, especially with travel restrictions and COVID. I mean, things are getting a little better now, but as much as possible, maintain contact with your relatives. Don't just rely on one person to look after them. Engage the community, engage family members, engage friends to go in and check, because nowadays you just cannot trust people. But yes, a marriage like that would be perfectly legal. So again, if you're concerned about an elderly relative, make sure their affairs are in order. You can consider doing a power of attorney, ensure they do their will, and of course ensure that they are physically taken care of. Let me just jump over to Facebook. How do you get squatters off your land, and how long does it take? Oh boy. So generally speaking, once you want to get anybody off your land, you serve them with a notice to quit. It could be a tenant or a squatter. And I know a lot of you are going to say, but why should I serve a squatter with a notice? They're there without my permission. I just need to go and kick them off, get the bulldozer, and drag them out. No. Because if you go before the court to try and get them off, the judges are, the first thing the judges are asking for was, where's the notice? Was it served? Has it expired? If that wasn't done, they're going to kick you out of court and they go and serve a notice to quit, and then only come back once the notice expires. So avoid all of that, and nobody is doubting that this is a squatter and they're there without your permission. But just to avoid all of that and wasting time, serve them with a notice, state that they're there without your permission, and once that expires, you take them to court. So that's how you get a squatter off your land. You take them to court for recovery of possession. How long does it take? It's going to take several months. Our court processes in Jamaica are not quick. Before COVID, they weren't quick. During COVID, after, I'm not even sure where we are with COVID now, but it's even longer. So I can't even venture to say it's going to take 3 months, 5 months, but just get the process started as soon as possible. And remember, with squatters, serving a notice for them to leave is not enough to break up their time. You have to follow that notice up with court proceedings because only a court order is sufficient to stop the time from running. So if you serve a squatter with a notice and they've been there for 10 years, if you don't follow it up with court and they're there for another 2 years, they can go ahead and apply for a title. So to get a squatter off, serve them with a notice, take them to court, ensure you get a court order. That's the only thing that will break up their time, because we know how squatters are. They are just watching and waiting for the time to pass, and as soon as the time passes, they go ahead and they make an application for title. And if they can show they have been there for the 12 years, and they apply for title and get it in their name, apart from showing that they lied on their application, there's not much you'll be able to do to cancel their title. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
Under the Law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 15 years. That's right. Join us on Thursdays at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and at 9:55 p.m. Compliments of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. Educating, advocating, empowering. Under the Law, Thursdays on Power 106 FM.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number. You can call 876-881-5254. 876-881-5254. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja, facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. You're encouraged to call ahead before turning up at the offices of Brown, Findley and Company, whether the offices in Halfway Tree or Shop 6 upstairs, the JN building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. The numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findley and Company: 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. The number for the Ocho Rios office is 876-974-6083. 876-974-6083. And there's a lawyer on duty at the Ocho Rios office every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Once again, here's attorney at law, Calicia Findley.
Thank you, Dervan. Just to touch again on that question that came in just before the break, someone had asked how they get rid of squatters from their land. And my response is that you serve them with a notice to quit, and that's a notice to leave the property. Once that notice expires, then you follow up with court proceedings. Some people think that by serving a notice on a squatter, that you are somehow legitimizing their possession of the land. You're somehow giving them rights to the property. That's foolishness. Absolute foolishness. Serving a notice to leave your property cannot give someone a right to the property. What would give them a right to the property is if they've been there for 12 years. What would give them a right to the property is if you enter an agreement to sell it to them or to lease it to them. So serving a notice on someone who is on your property legally in no way gives them a right to the property. In fact, when I'm serving notices or preparing notices to squatters, my reason for wanting them off is that they occupy the property illegally. So don't think that because you're serving a notice means that you're somehow legitimizing that person's occupancy of the property. Continuing with our messages. How does a tenant get light in their name? They would send a copy of well, nowadays everything is online. So let's say you're making an application as a tenant to get electricity in your name. You're making this application to the JPS. You do the application online, and to prove that you are the tenant, you either submit a copy of your rental agreement or what we call a letter of possession that will be prepared by the attorney or by the landowner. And that's a letter simply stating that John Brown is a tenant of ABC Avenue and he is entitled to take out electricity services. So a tenant simply makes an application to JPS, and to show that they are a tenant and they have a right to get electricity, they send JPS a letter of possession or a copy of their rental agreement. What are closing costs when you buy a house? Closing costs are any cost, any fees over and above the purchase price of the property, simply put. So again, closing costs are anything over and above the purchase price when you are buying property. So let's say you are buying property for $10 million. In addition to the $10 million, think of it like when you go to the supermarket and you're buying something. On the shelf it says $10, but you know when you get to the cashier, you're going to have to pay GCC. So it's any additional cost. So you're buying property for $10 million. In addition to the $10 million, you're going to have legal fees, stamp duty, registration fee, the cost of the sale agreement, your bank's commitment fees, mortgage processing fees, insurance, even the surveyor's identification reports, valuation reports. So anything over and above the purchase price to facilitate or to finalize the sale, that's what we refer to as closing costs. Again, when you're buying property, please ensure that you explore all the costs before signing a sale agreement. This is why, particularly when you're getting a mortgage, we now require your pre-approval. And I've seen it before, actually, where someone wanted to buy property. I can't remember the purchase price, but let's just say for argument's sake, it was $8 million. And the person genuinely believed that all they had to pay was the $8 million. They had the $8 million ready and waiting. And they were surprised when I went through all the additional costs with them. So please get your pre-approvals if you're getting a mortgage, consult with an attorney so you know all the costs. Let me go over to Facebook. And again, our Facebook page is facebook.com/landsolutions. I put my cousin on my title, but now I want him off. I had $1 every time this issue came up. I put my cousin on my title, but now I want him off. But he won't sign the document. What do I do? When you put someone on your title, they are a co-owner. They own it along with you. Doesn't matter if they did not pay any money. So what can you do now? Try negotiating with them. Try having an attorney negotiate with them. If they are not budging, see if offering them some money to buy them out, if they will accept that. If that does not work and they're not budging, you would have to take them to court. And it is not the easiest application to make, because once the court sees names on a title, the court, there is a presumption that both parties own it equally, both parties are entitled to a share in the property. So you're going to have to come up with convincing evidence to say, listen, I just put this person on as insurance. I didn't mean for him to have, I didn't mean for him to benefit forever in this property. So please think carefully before you put anyone on your title. I know you have certain people in your life that you trust, friends, family. But it always ends up being those persons who turn out to be difficult. So please be careful, and I wish you all the best. You can send me a follow-up message to see how that goes for you. Do I have to write a separate will for assets in Jamaica and overseas? Absolutely not. You just need one will. And that one will reference all your assets, whether in Jamaica, the UK, the US, wherever in the world. You just need one will. Many people think that you need separate wills. If you have properties in 3 countries, they think you need 3 wills. No, you just need one will. And what the law says is that it is the last will that is valid. So you can own property in America, you do a will in 2000. You own property in Canada, you do a will in 2001. You own property in Jamaica, you do a will in 2003. What the law says is that it is the most recent will, the last will, in this case the 2003 will, that will be valid. So please, don't run into that problem. And if you consult with an attorney, let's say you consult with an attorney in the UK, disclose all your assets. A lot of us are too secretive. So we think that if we are living in the UK, but we have a piece of land in Jamaica, we're going to hide it from the world. No, you're actually protecting yourself. If you're making a will, your attorney should know about all your assets so they can advise you accordingly. Please, you don't want to end up thinking you have a will only to find out you don't have a will. I see it all the time, and it is particularly disheartening when people come into you and they think they're beneficiaries. They come with what they say is a will, and then it turns out not to be valid. So please, please seek legal advice before you do anything of that nature. I am a joint owner of property. My spouse and I purchased house. My spouse and I purchased a house through the bank. I got sick and my spouse went away. Can I add someone to the title? And is there such a thing as abandonment of spouse? You say you purchased it through a bank, so that means there's a mortgage. You cannot add someone to the title because your spouse is still on it. You could add the person to your share, but you would still need your mortgage company's approval. And because your spouse is still on the title, the mortgage company is not going to grant approval. If there was no mortgage, then you could go ahead and add that person to your share. If your spouse has been away for more than 12 years, then you can make an application for the entire title to be in your name. And at that time, you can add someone else to the title. So it is possible only if your spouse has been gone for 12 years. And second part of the question, is there such a thing as abandonment of spouse? Not to my knowledge, no. I feel like if that were a thing, then there would be many, many cases in Jamaica. But no, there is no cause of action for abandoning a spouse. It happens. It's just one of those things. If you are in a situation like, because it happens all the time, where spouses just disappear. They leave the matrimonial home. They go about their separate lives. I'm sure we all know stories of someone who said they're going away to another country to make a better life and send for the family, and the family in Jamaica never hears from them. If that happens to you, as soon as you can, after they've been gone for a year, and you think that, and maybe more than, but the law says minimum a year. Because you feel like the marriage has broken down irretrievably, start divorce proceedings. It makes no sense personally or legally to hang on to a situation that really has no hope of being reconciled. You're just delaying the inevitable. Because, and in a sense, you're doing this for yourself and your family. Because let's say you haven't seen your spouse for 10 years and you don't have a will and you die. Technically, your spouse is still entitled to share in your property. And I'll get back to that after the break. This is Land Solutions.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
3:15.
Under the Law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 50 years. That's right. Join us on Thursdays at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and at 9:55 p.m. Complimentary with Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, educating, advocating, empowering. Under the Law, Thursdays on Power 106 FM.
It's the final segment of Land Solutions for today, Monday, the 28th of February. Here's your opportunity to get in whatever questions you have, whatever concerns are lingering, whatever you're unsure about with respect to the sale or purchase of land. Here's your opportunity. The numbers to call 876 922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line for Land Solutions, 876-881-5254. 876-881-5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com. landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. If you are on Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road, Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. In fact, a lawyer is on duty at the Ocho Rios office every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. If you wish to call the Ocho Rios office of Brown, Findley and Company, the number is 876-974-6083. 876-974-6083. Once again, here's attorney at law, Calicia Findley.
Thank you, Dervan. So just before the break, I was discussing the issue of divorcing a spouse. Someone had asked if there's such a thing as abandonment of spouse. There really isn't. But what I just want to drive home is if you're in a situation where your spouse has quote unquote abandoned you, they have left, sort out your affairs. Don't stick for 5 or 10 years and stay married and then not do anything. Because I'm sure we've all heard stories or we've known persons where someone has died and their spouse, whoever one thought had disappeared, they've now shown up and ready to claim everything. So please get your affairs in order.
Have another call for you, Calicia.
Thanks, Dervan. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, how may I help?
Hello?
Yes, you're live on air. How may I help?
Okay, well, then, no. Yes, I'm living on a piece of land for the past, since 2004. And I got it surveyed, and I'd like a little advice of how to, go towards getting it registered for me.
Okay, so you have your survey.
Hello?
Hello, you have your survey in hand?
Yes, I did in 2014.
All right. What's the next?
Hello?
I'm sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
A little low, but I'm hearing you.
Yes, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yes, and I owe this last year's taxes and 1 year tax. But what do I do now, miss?
All right, so you pay up the taxes, and then you come in to us or any other lawyer for a consultation. You come in with the tax receipt and your survey diagram so we can advise you further. But if you have been there from 2004 and nobody has tried to take you off, then you should be in a good position to apply for title in your name.
Well, I have no money.
All right, I'm going to have the producer take your number and give you a call. All right, hold on for me.
Okay, Mr. Thanks.
You're welcome. Talk to you soon. Continuing with our messages. How long does a subdivision take? I started the process in 2017 and I'm still waiting on my lawyer. Lawyers don't make the subdivision. I'm not sure what arrangement you would have with your attorney. But as the attorneys, we don't do the subdivision application. The subdivision application is done between yourself and your surveyor. So your surveyor comes in, they prepare the plans, and they submit it to the parish council for approval. Then once you get the parish council approval, then you come to us, the attorneys, to apply for the splinter titles. Generally speaking, though, once all your documentation is in order, once you have complied with all the parish council requirements, subdivision takes about 2 to 3 years. If you have been waiting from 2017, then it means that there's something that's outstanding. Perhaps there's something you haven't complied with. Maybe the infrastructure isn't in order. So double check with the parish council. But again, it's really not up to the attorney, because it's you, the landowner, who would have made the application to the parish council. Someone wants to know if they can put a child on a title. You can put a child on a title. It's not something we like to do for several reasons. Once you put when we say a child, by law, a child or a minor is anybody under 18. Once you put a child on a title, the registrar of titles puts a caveat, a caveat, a block on the title, so you can't do anything with the title until the child is 18, and then of course the child would have to agree. Also, if you insist on putting a child on a title, we would do what we call a reservation clause, which basically says that even though child is on the title with adults still has the right to deal with the property however they wish. If you are getting a mortgage, you absolutely cannot put a child on a title. And that surprises many people. And of course, you have children, you want to provide for them, you want to ensure they get the property in the event something happens to you. And the most convenient thing you think would be to add them to the title. But once you're getting a mortgage, the mortgage company will not allow it. So if you're getting a mortgage and you have a child, you have children, make a will and you can will the property to your child. Once your child attains the age of majority, you can then decide if you want to put them on the title. So yes, a child can go on a title, but there are certain restrictions. So please, can't stress this enough. Ensure you seek legal advice before doing any land transaction, especially those that may involve a minor. if a house is left to 5 children and one wants to sell their share, can that be done? It can. That person can sell their share to the others if they agree to buy it. And usually that is the problem in situations like this. So someone will leave a house to 5 people, 3 may want it, 1 doesn't care, 1 just wants the money. And when they absolutely cannot come to an agreement, it usually ends up in court. And if it ends up in court and it cannot be settled, usually what happens is that the judge, after hearing the evidence, the judge may just make an order that it be sold on the open market and the proceeds be split between everyone. And in theory, that may sound like a good thing, but it can be a little difficult. Dervan, do we have a call?
Yes, indeed we do.
Thanks. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, hello. Could you explain the procedure for getting the land to be subdivided?
All right. So the surveyor will come in. They will mark out the different. Let's say you have a 1 acre lot, for argument's sake, and you want to get 4 parcels out of it, 1/4 acre each. The surveyor will come in and survey each of the 1/4 acres. And I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. They'll come in, survey, prepare the plan, and submit them to the parish council for approval. That's it in a nutshell. It sounds simple, but because the parish council, there are many agencies involved, like the Ministry of Health, the Fire Department, NEPA, and each of them has to sign off on the subdivision application. So in theory, it's not a complicated application, but because it has to go to all the different agencies, that's why it takes so long. But in a nutshell, the surveyor comes in, prepares the plans for each lot that you want, and then it's submitted to the parish council. That's the process in a nutshell.
So, but irrespective, it has to go through some of different departments. It doesn't gotta take that long.
Sir, I agree with you. I do. I don't see why it needs to take 2 or 3 years, but that's just the standard time it takes.
Frustrating.
Beyond the frustrating. You have no idea. Beyond frustrating.
All right. Thanks for having enlightened my ignorance.
Thank you. Take care. Thanks for listening. So I was saying just before this call that a lot of times it sounds good on paper when people say, you know what, let's just go to court, let the judge decide. And the judge will say, all right, fine, order it be sold, split in 5, the proceeds is split in 5. It sounds good on paper, but remember, court is expensive. And it takes years just to get a trial date. I think now the wait may be 4 to 5 years just to get a trial date. So think of all the time you would have wasted, not to mention the legal fees that you would have paid out. You probably could have just come to that decision on your own. So I know sometimes when we have disputes, the first thing we say is that, you know what, I'm taking it to court. And I have every respect for court and the processes. But explore other options. Explore negotiating, explore mediation. Let court be a last resort because it's always expensive and it is time consuming. Let me just see if I can get in one final message. Someone wants to know what is the difference between an executor and a beneficiary. A beneficiary is getting something under the will. So I will my house to John Brown. John Brown is the beneficiary. Comes from the word benefit. You're benefiting, so you're a beneficiary. Will my house to John Brown? John Brown is the beneficiary. The executor is the person in charge of the estate. That's the person who is going to carry out the deceased person's wishes. That's the person the deceased person appoints to ensure that their wishes are carried out. So if you look on our will form, you will see at the top where it says, I, John Brown, appoint Mary Smith to be my executor or a trustee. Those words are used interchangeably. Executor carries out the wishes, beneficiary gets something under the will. A beneficiary can be an executor. An executor can be a beneficiary. Don't mean to oversimplify it, but it is absolutely possible. Thanks as always for tuning in to another edition of Land Solutions. I've been your host for today, Calicia Finley, and thanks as always to Dervan and the team at Power 106. Take care, everyone.
Importers, provide proper invoices for customs when presenting goods for examination. This could prevent delays during clearance. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30. One Spot Media is having a Black History Month rental special on Thicker Than Water Seasons 1 and 2. Rent up to 2 weeks of the plot-driven drama series for US $20.99. All you have to do is to log into onespotmedia.com, select the rental tab, select Thicker Than Water series, then click rent. It's that easy on onespotmedia.com.
Jesus, oh Jesus, oh how I love to call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious calling program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live, declare the works of the Lord. Amen. And you shall be a living testimony here on the Lord's side.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. We're looking forward to your usual participation. We have seen the many messages coming in. In fact, just before we bring in our guest at this point, let's greet those of you who have been online for a little while now, and we're yet to officially say hello to you, like Jennifer Stewart from Q Road in Kencott in East Central St. Andrew. Good afternoon. Hello to Beverly in Toronto, Canada. She says, hey, Dervan, happy Monday. No more PCR. Hooray. Starting March 1 tomorrow. She's obviously excited. All the best, Beverly. Audrey Smith in Southampton in England says, afternoon, Dervan and listeners everywhere. Happy New Week to all. My heart goes out to all those people in Ukraine who are suffering right now. All those poor, innocent children. May God bless and keep them safe in this awful, awful time they're experiencing, says Audrey Smith in Southampton, England. Inez Iona Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and viewers. My internet acting up. I'm here in Jamaica. Service very poor. We're sorry to hear that. Inez Iona Campbell, who's usually in Bridgeport, Connecticut, she's in Jamaica. She's not happy with the internet service at all. Angelia Christian is in London. She says, happy Monday. Angel Foundation, UKJA. Hello, Angel. How are you? How are things in Tottenham? Beverly says, Inez, my cousin was there and it was the same problem. Poor internet service. What else is new in Jamaica, says Beverly in Toronto, Canada. Norman Hines says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan, Malcolm, and listeners. To you too, Norman Hines in St. Thomas. Jeannie Chambers, good afternoon. Bless up to you too. And Sylvia Myers, good afternoon. And thanks for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we're delighted to have you all on board. Earlier this month, in fact, the 3rd of February to be precise, we brought to your attention that it was International Optimist Day. And in fact, I believe it was, what's his name now, an optimist who called us upon hearing us referencing International Optimist Day. And there have been activities to highlight the work of particular zones. And in this instance, Zone 1 of Optimist International Caribbean. So this is Optimist International Caribbean District Zone 1, which has been and recognized this month of February. And so it's spotlighting Zone 1 for the month of February. So this is the last day in February, and we're anxious to find out about some of the activities that have taken place since the start of the month in spotlighting Zone 1 of Optimist International Caribbean District. Let's say hello, good afternoon, and welcome to a lady who can tell us all about it. She is LTG, that's Lieutenant Governor, as I understand the title. Yes, Lieutenant Governor for the Optimist International Caribbean District Zone 1. Good afternoon, LTG Patrice Hanson. How are you?
Good afternoon, Dervan. I am well. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, how did you get involved or become associated and involved with the Optimist International?
Well, it started in 2016 with an invitation from a friend to attend her club meeting. And I think that was in March. And in June, I decided, yes, I liked it. I felt at home because service is part of what I do. And so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to serve. But having been in the club, I started to move up to being chairperson for the oratorical and the essay contest. And then before I knew it, I'm here. I remember my past LTG, Patricia Wigan Chambers, who had mentioned to me at first that she wanted me to be the LTG for Zone 1, and I would laugh because I did not have that as part of the things I wanted to do.
Yes.
But I accepted, and here I am.
Yes, indeed. What about your constituency, Optimist International Caribbean District Zone 1? What are the areas that fall under Zone 1?
All right, so Kingston, we have Kingston as part of the zone. We have West Portland, Sunset and Nutter Bay, and then we have one club here in Grand Cayman, and we are forming a new club this month as well. This afternoon, as a matter of fact, we'll be launching a new club here in the Cayman Islands, Grand Cayman to be exact.
Oh, nice. And so clearly it's growing, and the Optimist has to respond in terms of accommodating. But that's good. That there is growth then, which is a good thing.
Definitely.
Because there's a feeling, usually those of us who are part of clubs, associations, groups, organizations, it tends to be the same set of people. Everybody is sort of like on the fringes. How has it been based on your experience, LTG Patrice Hanson, with respect to Optimist International Caribbean District Zone 1?
I find that people are anxious and willing to serve. I think it's part of their nature to care for. And so when they see something that appeals to that nature, they want to be a part of it. To be honest, many of the persons who have approached me have seen the work that we've done, and many of them, because we focus largely on children, they are interested to join and to become members because they want to serve as well. And so for me, my experience has been positive.
Yes.
I have quite a few people just wanting, anxious, excited to join our program, and it's quite a positive impact that we're making.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the work of Optimist International Caribbean District Zone 1. Based on your experience, what has that been like? Is it that you have a fixed project, a series of projects? What determines what you do, when you do it, how you do it, etc.?
All right. So for this Optimist year, starting October 1 and ending the 29th of September, the 30th of September, sorry, we are, the Caribbean District focuses on 10 different zones. So each month for the year, a different zone is in the spotlight. The theme for this year is Me and My Mentee, which is a mentorship program reaching the at-risk youth. So pretty much our programs will kind of focus on all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are times when we are focusing on the need that we see in our community,
yes,
close to us. So I know we focused on the wetlands.
Mm-hmm.
We did a beach cleanup because we saw the need to do that. We are seeing where there are persons who are unable to purchase, the
basic food items.
Basic food items. So we meet the need where there is one.
Mm-hmm.
We also did feeding of the men and boys who hustle on the streets in Kingston. We donated personal packages to children's home and hospitals, and for CHARM, which stands for Childhood Health and Response Mission, we focused on children living with AIDS. And for this quarter, we focus on childhood cancer. So there are different donations that we make to these charities.
Yeah.
We focus on mental health. We have so many children who are being affected at this point with dealing with the pandemic. And I know it sounds cliche, but it is real.
Mm-hmm.
I am now becoming more educated on mental health and the need for us to work on, targeting those areas of our children.
Yes.
We work at fitness. Part of our creed talks about to talk health and happiness and prosperity to every person we meet. So we're dealing with the entire person,
Mm-hmm.
the whole man, building him mentally, physically, spiritually. We worked on praise and worship session. The World Day of the Sick, we were praying online for persons who are ill. And there are different things that we do. I know one of the criteria for graduation here in the Cayman Islands, children must complete at least 10 hours of community service. So we have provided opportunities for children to get these hours.
Yes.
So they had painting of cabanas at our park. They are also cleaning the park. We are giving them a plant to adopt and take care of, to nurture, different things. So like holding different skills of responsibilities in our youth.
And I have to ask you, how's life in Cayman?
It's good. It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. Yes.
Right. And care to give us a sense of what the sense of community, an idea of the sense of community within Cayman. How is that, and how does that impact your work?
Well, I find, it's Cayman, and we talk about Cayman kind, where we're all about sharing and reaching out and helping our neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we do as well. We are supportive of the Cayman kind.
Mm-hmm.
We have a large diaspora of Jamaicans here, and the club that I'm a part of is largely Jamaican. We have Barbadians in that club as well, and Trinidadians, but it's largely Jamaican based. So you feel a sense of community in our particular club. Of course, the club that we're forming is also largely Jamaican based, but it's largely teachers from Jamaica who are now living here in the Cayman Islands.
Because you're part of a global movement, in a sense, how do you project your individualism in terms of the work that an individual zone is doing, for example, etc., without without breaching any of the established protocols of the organization?
All right, so we work within the parameters that were given. Like I said earlier, the governor, who is Al Johnson for the Caribbean District, has as his theme mentorship. And mentorship falls under Optimist International's Care for Youth, because our slogan is Friend of Youth.
Yes.
So once we are doing things for the youth or targeting the youth in any way, we are actually within the parameters of assisting. So the mentorship program now aimed at risk students or youth will fall under pretty much everything that we do, or everything we do will fall under that umbrella. And it makes it easier because we're focusing on children.
Makes sense. One moment, please. We need to take a break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. Manage your waste and save. Learn more about various wastewater systems for farms and residential use, assistance in getting NEPA licenses, and monitoring and characterization of your wastewater. Tune in to Real Business this and every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for Manage Your Waste and Save. Brought to you by the Scientific Research Council Wastewater Management Services. Environmentally conscious, responsive, and solution-oriented. That's Manage Your Waste and Save. Listen to every Tuesday at 10 a.m. during Real Business, right here on Power 106 FM.
Before it is washed to the sea, how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free?
Zone 1 of Optimist International Caribbean District is in the spotlight and has been for the month of February, which ends today. And we've been getting some insights into the programs, activities, and general outreach efforts of Zone 1 from Lieutenant Governor Patrice Hanson, who is in the Cayman Islands as we speak. You started talking about the mentorship program. Wonder if you could give us a little more information with respect to how the approach that you have been taking to this mentorship program.
Okay, sure. So the mode of interest that we focus on pretty much is just anything to do with at-risk youth. We believe that the youth today are facing myriad of problems.
True.
And so we are trying our very best to be sensitive to those issues, those problems, and target them. So it's not limited to any one thing. Like here in the Cayman Islands, we're focusing on helping children to love school, to love learning, to create opportunities for them for graduation, because many of them are focused on coming to school, but they're not taking up the opportunities to do anything beyond that.
Yes.
And so we're creating these opportunities so that they will have a chance at graduation, because graduation is not just about academics. So we're giving them the other opportunities that they would not ordinarily get when they leave school. We found also that a lot of the students are seeking opportunities to be responsible. We see it in how they respond to simple things like caring for things that aren't theirs, or caring for things, period. So we're giving them opportunities for them to show care for each other and property. So we teach the young men from the Boys to Men program how to treat a young lady, how to ask her out when it's that time.
Yes.
How to, take care of properties, painting, cleaning, sweeping, all of the things that they will need to show and become a whole person.
Yes.
So these are some of the opportunities that we're doing here in the Cayman Islands. And in Jamaica, there are several other opportunities. I know the Worsley Boys Home, there's the Optimist Club of Manor Park that is catering to those needs there. And other clubs are focusing on other needs. So it's really not limited to anything, but where there's a need, there's an optimist, is what I would like to say.
Very nice. Well put. And as the month of February comes to a close in terms of a month in which Zone 1 has been in the spotlight, is there, of all that you've shared so far, is there anything that you regard as the highlight of the month, or is there something to come that you perhaps would like to preview at this point?
Well, there's only one regret first and foremost, and that is the month of February only has 28 days. But within those 28 days, we've done over 30 projects. And that for me is exciting.
Yes.
I see that the members, the presidents of our clubs are so hardworking that I can stay here and they are filling me in with what they're doing. I just need to have a dream or a vision and say, this is what I'm envisioning. What do you think? And they'll say yes, and they'll run with it. So for me, the highlight is the working together, because that's that's the theme that we're focusing on in the Caribbean now, working together as optimists. And I felt that sense of working together this month than any other month in the year. And I just want to say kudos to all my presidents, secretary treasurers, Governor Al, for having this vision of working together. And it's just been a lovely thing. For me, one of the other highlights is the fact that persons have seen the work we've done, and this afternoon we'll be forming a new club of 17 teachers. So that's another highlight for me, because the work has to go on. And where we fall short because of the persons who we have, we are now getting others to join, to assist with the movement, to assist with all the plans and projects that we have as optimists. So there are several highlights, but those are my top two.
And for those who are listening and they're going, this sounds good, but optimist, what does it mean to be an optimist? Do I just walk around or stick my head in the sand, or I just think wonderful thoughts and everything is bright and beautiful and there's nothing bad or negative happening? For those who are unsure, they want to get perhaps a precise idea of what it means to be an optimist, to become a member of Optimist International.
Well, to be an optimist, I think it's in all of us. I think we have this hope that something better is coming.
Yes.
Even though there's nothing but dismal around us, we can always see beyond that. It is what keeps us going from day to day, regardless of the problems that we face. So if we start there, then we are looking at hope for ourselves. And then whenever we have hope for ourselves, or there's something good happening in us, we don't want to keep it to ourselves. We always want to share it, because that is to be done. So for me, optimism is looking at the bright side of everything, regardless of what it is, knowing that there is hope for a better tomorrow or a better minute ahead. So that's where we start. To be an optimist, there are several clubs in Jamaica. There is several clubs in Kingston. We can start with the Optimist International website on Instagram and Facebook. And you can reach out to the email address there. They are willing to respond to you, and there's always an Optimist Club right next to you.
And as the Optimist Creed says, perhaps it's a good, I always enjoy reciting the Optimist Creed in season or out of season, because it's always relevant. Yes, promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. To talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. To make all your friends feel that there is something in them. To look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true. To think only the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. To be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. To forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future. To wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile. To give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others. To be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. Yes. Powerful, powerful. We thank Christian D. Larson. I think he's the author, right?
Yes.
Many years ago. Yes. And I'm happy and proud to say that as a youngster, as a student, I entered the Optimist Oratorical Contest. So I'm very, yes, and happy to have won a medal. I think I got a bronze medal at the time in one of those oratorical contests. And I'm happy to have been able to support and work with the, which one was it? Optimist International Jamaica, Kingston. Did I get that right? Yes.
Optimist Power Kingston?
Yes. And also happy to participate in the hosting of the oratorical contest. So coming from being a contestant to a host of that program as well. So one way or another, we have been touched by Optimist International, one way or another. And long live optimism, long live Optimist International.
Thank you.
And well done to you and your troop, your team, your fellow optimists, and the tremendous work that you've been doing. And in this instance, where the focus has been on Zone 1 of Optimist International Caribbean District. And we trust that you continue to get the support. We didn't go there. We didn't talk about corporate support, but I get the impression that you get a fair bit whenever you come knocking or go knocking.
We do, yes. Thank you. Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Well, we want to thank you very much for sharing on this afternoon's edition of Both Sides of the Story here on Power 106 FM. And we look forward to hearing more. And again, remind us, I think you gave us the information earlier on, for those who'd like to learn more about the Optimist International, and in particular, to follow the work of Zone 1 and the Caribbean District in general. Where's a good place to go or start?
So you can start on Instagram by typing in Caribbean Optimist with an S at the end.
Okay, that's easy.
And pardon?
I'm saying that's easy. Caribbean Optimists with an S at the end. Optimists. Yes. Mm-hmm.
On Instagram and Facebook.
Great. Thank you so much. Well done to you, LTG Patrice Hansen. All the very best.
Thank you, Dervan. Have a good one.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye. Lieutenant Governor Patrice Hansen of Optimist International Caribbean District Zone 1. This month of February, a month in which International Optimist Day was observed. I believe that was the 3rd of February. And the zone of focus has been Zone 1 of the Caribbean District for the month of February. Happy to highlight the work of those who give selflessly in furthering the brotherhood of man, as the saying goes, and as we like to paraphrase our national pledge, to advance the welfare of the whole human race. Let's get ready now for more of your messages, more of your input, more of your feedback. After all, it is your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Hello to Violet White. Good afternoon to you. She says, good afternoon, Dervan. Blessings to you and your listening audience. To you too, Violet White. Norman Hines is in St. Thomas, greeting everybody. Hi, Norman Hines. Andrew Burke says, good afternoon to you and your listeners, Mr. Malcolm. To you too, Andrew Burke, and yours. Nicola in Central Jamaica, good afternoon. Velta Wilson, good afternoon to you too. Faye Weller says, good afternoon, everyone. Watching from and listening from Anata Bay. Keep up the amazing work. You're very kind, Faye Weller. Thank you very much for your messages. Hello to Cherry Henry. Good afternoon to you too. Happy Monday to Sylvia Myers. Happy Monday, Sylvia Myers. Angelo Knight is online watching on YouTube as well, along with Cherry Henry and Sylvia Myers. Thank you all so much for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4 heures. 现在几点了？4点。4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. On this day in 1066, Westminster Abbey, the most famous church in England, opened its doors. Can you dig that? 1066, that was the year. On this day in 1066, Westminster Abbey, the most famous church in England, opened its doors. 1066. Good afternoon to Mr. Crawford of the Institute of Jamaica. That's his favorite year, 1066. Mr. Vivian Crawford, good afternoon to you. 1525, Cuauhtemoc, the last Aztec emperor, was tortured and executed by Spanish conqueror Hernán Cortés in 1525. In 1594, Britain's royal physician Roger Loper was arrested for alleged conspiracy to poison the Queen, as in Queen Elizabeth. 1784, John Wesley chartered the first Methodist church in the United States. On this day in 1784, despite the fact that he was an Anglican, Wesley saw the need to provide church structure for his followers after the Anglican Church abandoned its American believers during the American Revolution. Wesley first brought his evangelical brand of methodical Anglicanism to colonial Georgia from 1735 to 1737 in the company of his brother Charles, with whom he had founded the Aesthetic Holy Club at Oxford University. This first venture onto American soil was not a great success. Wesley became embittered from a failed love affair and was unable to win adherents to his studious practices. However, while in Georgia, he became acquainted with the German Moravians who hoped to establish a settlement in the colony. The meeting proved momentous, as it was at a Moravian meeting upon his return to London that Wesley felt he had a true experience of God's grace. While closely allied to the Moravians, Wesley began taking the advice of fellow Oxford graduate George Whitfield and preaching in the open air when banned from Anglican churches for his unorthodox evangelical methods. By 1739, Wesley had separated himself from the Moravians and attracted his own group of adherents, known as Methodists, who were held in disdain by the Orthodox Anglican clerical and civic hierarchy. By 1744, the Methodists had become a large enough group to require their own conference of ministers, which expanded to create an internal hierarchy, replicating some of the Anglican Church's ecclesiastical order. Wesley, however, remained within the Anglican fold and insisted that only ministers who had received the apostolic succession, the laying on of hands by an Anglican bishop to consecrate a new priest, could administer the sacraments. The refusal of the Anglican Church to ordain Dr. Thomas Coke to preach to Americans newly independent from the British state church finally forced Wesley to ordain within his own Methodist conference in the absence of a proper Anglican bishop. He performed the laying on of hands and not only ordained Coke as the superintendent of the Methodist Episcopal Church in America, but also commissioned him to ordain Francis Asbury as his co-superintendent. The Dr. Thomas Coke referred to is the same Dr. Thomas Coke who came to Jamaica, arriving at Port Royal on the 19th of January, 1789, the first Methodist missionary to Jamaica. Dr. Thomas Coke came to Jamaica, arriving at Port Royal on the 19th of January, 1789, the first Methodist missionary to Jamaica. That is how Coke Methodist Church at East Parade in downtown Kingston got its name, named for Dr. Thomas Coke. Coke Methodist Church at East Parade in downtown Kingston. Let's go a step further and tell you about Coke Methodist. The steps of the old church used to be a favorite platform for politicians in the early days of national political awakening. Coke Church stands on the site of the first Methodist chapel built in Jamaica. The chapel was originally a merchant's house that was remodeled. The first chapel was opened in 1790, but this was a time when missionary activity was frowned upon. Sometime after its opening, a grand jury in Kingston found the chapel injurious to the general peace and quiet of the said town and ordered it closed. It stayed closed for 7 years, but when it reopened in 1814, the congregation had trebled. Coke Church was built on the same site in 1840 and named after Dr. Thomas Coke, founder of the Methodist missions in the British West Indies. Let's go to 1792. On this day in 1792, the Custos of Kingston ordered a return of all free mulattoes and free Negroes who had arrived in Jamaica from Haiti since December 10, 1791. Oh, can you imagine? You see how long they have been turning back people from Haiti or the Haitians? This was 1792. The Custos of Kingston ordered a return of all free mulattoes and free Negroes who had arrived in Jamaica from Haiti since December 10, 1791. And there's another bit here that we wanted to share with you. 1827, the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad became the first railroad incorporated for commercial transportation of people and freight. Here in Jamaica, our railway was established 18 years later on the 21st of November, 1845. And we have had a couple of iterations since then after the rail service came to and screeched to a halt. We have had 2 instances the most recent one. I'm not sure what has become of that now, because the train was supposed to be carrying school children. I'm not sure it's still carrying them, because I gather it's just a handful of school children who have been taking the train. So I'm not sure what's the latest on that, but we've been trying to bring back the trains for some time now. It hasn't happened. Let's see what happens going forward. AT&T, American Telephone and Telegraph. That's what AT&T stands for, American Telephone and Telegraph. It was incorporated on this day in 1885. The company was capitalized on only $100,000 and provided long-distance service for American Bell. Thomas A. Edison Inc. was organized on this day in 1911. Haiti became the first U.S. protectorate on this day in 1916. The first televised basketball game was shown on this day in 1940. The game featured Fordham University and the University of Pittsburgh from Madison Square Gardens in New York. The Little Theater movement announced it wished to produce a locally written pantomime to be produced at the Ward Theater in Kingston the following Christmas 43, for the first time, and offered to pay £10 for the most suitable script any popular fairy tale or folklore story may be adapted. And the script was to be sent not later than June to Mrs. Greta Burke, organizer of the Little Theater movement, 80 Hope Road, Halfway Tree, P.O., St. Andrew. And Greta Burke, as I understand the history, eventually became Greta Fowler. And let's see, right. So that is a bit of the theater history there. Now here is one, a tragic, and with a twist of sorts. 1942. Sadly, 12 people were killed and 32 injured when the rear end of a railway freight train and a Kalamazoo trolley coach packed with passengers collided around a blind curve on the Frankfield branch line between Maypen Station and Sevens Siding. It was the railway's worst accident since the tragic and fatal Balaclava crash on Saturday, July 30, 1938. Among the 12 people killed was the Reverend Lester Davy, the founding headmaster of Clarendon College. Clarendon College was 26 days old at the time. The school was plunged into mourning when staff and the 15 students enrolled got the news. Of course, it was sad that Reverend Lester Davy was killed in that train crash, but look at the legacy he has left behind, a legacy that still stands. The legacy is Clarendon College, which will continue in perpetuity as long as there's life on earth. This is what we're talking about. Reverend Lester Davy died more than 70 years ago. But as tragic as that train crash was, his work was done. He had just established Clarendon College, an institution of learning. He's no longer around, but the learning continues. And there are thousands of Jamaicans whose learning was acquired at Clarendon College. That is what Francis Bacon was talking about when he wrote The Advancement of Learning in 1605, when he said, "We see then how far the monuments of wit and learning are more durable than the monuments of power or of the hands. For have not the verses of Homer continued 2,500 years or more without the loss of a syllable or letter? during which time infinite palaces, temples, castles, cities have been decayed and demolished. That was Francis Bacon speaking in 1605, more than 400 years earlier. He died. He died almost 400 years ago, but his words still resonate. Why? Because as another writer who died 1131 AD puts it, the moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. The words there of Omar Khayyam, Khayyam, the Persian polymath who lived from 1048 to 1131 AD. Let us strive to live more meaningful lives, however much time we have left on this earth. And there is no time like the present. Let's seize the moment.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15. Jamaicans, it's our Diamond Jubilee, 60 years of independence, and the cultural powerhouse JCDC is searching for Jamaica's next gospel star. The JCDC is now accepting entries for the Jamaica Gospel Star competition. Share your ministry in song. Submit your video performance of a cover or original song of 2.5 minutes. Visit the JCDC's website and social media pages for details to register and upload your entry. Entries close on February 28. Are you the next gospel star?
Consumer Talks, educating and empowering consumers towards a more vigilant and confident consumer-friendly Jamaica. Join us every second and last Tuesday of each month at 9:35 on Real Business. Listen and learn about your rights and responsibilities. Learn how the CAC works to empower consumers in Jamaica. Consumer Talks, brought to you by the Consumer Affairs Commission. Protecting your rights, securing our future.
How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:17. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:17. 现在几点了？4点17分。17 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
How are you?
I am fine, thanks, Mr. Francis. And you?
Oh, like the little run that you gave Clarendon College, I didn't go there, but when I was about to go to stick with quorum, and I was unable to attend that college. But it has a long road, a steep hill to go up there. But I'm glad you really ran across it and informed the nation as to what a great college, and the gentleman who formed it died, and the name lives on, you know.
Yes.
I just call you about two things. Fire in Jamaica, and let me deal with the fire first. I realize, I look at the paper today and I look at the paper coming down in the year that everywhere there is fire. When I look at what happened down Kingston Mall, in Kingston,
Oxford Mall.
Oxford Mall, 2 years since it get back on shape. And it is believed that there's a
and before that, the Railway Market, again, not for the first time.
I'm saying to the government, please bear with me, that if you can give a man 15 years or 20 for a illegal gun, anybody who is found, right, burn down a place or is in league to burn down a place, Parliament should meet early and get back this thing on stream and give these people 50 years and 25 years, because the damage that a fire can do, one gun cannot do so much damage. And I mean, when you look in the cleaner today and see millions of dollars, just because a man might be a bad man, I don't like to see somebody's friend.
Yeah, and it's the first time we're hearing of someone being held. As it is now, there's someone in custody, or I'm not sure if he's in custody yet, but the police have identified that individual as a person of interest.
And there's also a big fire down in Newmarket. I don't know if you might have found time to look at your paper.
Today?
Yes, today's paper. Hope Torch in Newmarket fire. There's a lady here bending down. She don't know what to pick up because there's on camera.
No, man, that's not that's the same Oxford. Isn't that the same Oxford Mall fire? Yes, man. That's let's see. A dejected Marcia Taylor, 55-year-old market vendor, ponders her future after losing all her wares in a fire that gutted Oxford Mall arcade in downtown Kingston.
Correct, and thank you for the correction. But I'm saying the government needs to meet in Parliament, because you're trying to get in the gun. And another thing I want them to do, you have some knife for someone to carry. I don't know. They are so dangerous, just like a gun. And the government must pull in all those knives.
Some knives? But when KD Knight was Minister of National Security, wasn't there a law having to do with persons traveling with knives or yes. Need to look back at that.
So I'm asking you to finger with the government here and get them to look at the knives that are still here. They are as dangerous as gun in some cases. You don't let it go on fast. And if you get a Cuban man or a Panamanian man to draw a knife, you draw a knife faster than you pull a gun. So the knife out here is very dangerous.
Mind you, there are some people who use it as a tool of trade. For example, let's think about the chefs, for example, who travel with a collection of knives.
Well, when that is proven, when the government and the police can prove that, verifying, you said that man, look what is happening here. I mean, look how much people died in our country. Yesterday, 6 people died in our parish in St. James. 6 people died that day. So what I'm saying, the knife and the fire, people burn on people place too often in Jamaica. A man don't like it, just set the place of fire and go about in places. So there should be a heavy penalty, I call on the government, for fire burning and knives that are people travel with for dangerous action. So I just call on you that, glad to hear you. I got a little call from the postal agents. And,
you got a little what?
Coverage on the television, TJ, postal agents. Give me a little coverage and give me the full thing at the night and give it something at the 12 o'clock. And most people at work.
But we wouldn't know about that because we haven't received anything. You haven't emailed or said or faxed any information to us.
My son, who's vice president, was instructed to do all those things and inform all
the stations. But these younger guys, I don't know what they're doing. And CVM called me this today. They are now looking at my because I had a protest on Wednesday, and Thursday.
Mhm.
Because every other body of work get an increase beside the postal agents. Now, can you tell me why they can't give them something? I mean, you raise minimum wage, you raise domestic wage, you raise everything, and the postal agents who work with it paid by the Postmaster General, 5 days a week, most of them. And the last 15 years, this government and the past government has not granted them a dollar increase. How can these people survive? They have to take care of the handicapped and the sick.
Now, remember, we don't use that word again, unless you're talking in golf language. Handicap, that's for golf. Persons with disabilities. Mhm.
So we got a little coverage the other day, Friday, and other people called and they were glad to know. And I have another set of union man who called me, want to help me with the postal agency. I told him I would be very happy because we might have to take the matter to the tribunal. But what can you tell me, sir? What will they tell you if you are the Minister of Finance now and the Postmaster General and Dervan, who the Post Office Commander of the Ministry? Why is it that 15 years have passed and the postal agencies don't even get an adjustment, even though the ILO convention said that where a body of work do work of similar nature, the money should be similar. Mr. Clark get good treatment, and I'll fight against them. But the postal agents who work in the smaller district, right, they do get nothing. They have to clean them place, go to the profit place. A woman just called me that she get $8,100 a month for 3 days a week. And I don't know what sort of calculation they use to arrive at that. It to me like she get about 30 cents or 30 less than $30 an hour, So we're asking the government to clean up the place. We want to see Jamaica come nice and cut out the gun thing, take away the big knives. Take away the knives on these guys and all man do with it, man. Right? And save a life, save a life. And I'm really glad for you giving me a hearing, sir. And may the Lord be with your station. I will check out to see if we can get some email about the suffering of the postal agents for you, sir.
I'll look out for it.
Okay, sir. Thank you very
Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. A bit of history of relevance. 1987, the year was 1987. In a surprising announcement, Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev indicated that his nation was ready to sign without delay a treaty designed to eliminate US and Soviet medium-range nuclear missiles from Europe. Gorbachev's offer led to a breakthrough in negotiations and eventually to the signing of the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces INF Treaty in December 1987. And while we're on the subject, 1991, the Persian Gulf War began, which began on the 16th of January 1991, ended on this day in the same year. The Persian Gulf War, which began on the 16th of January 1991, ended on this day in 1991. The massive US-led offensive against Iraq, Operation Desert Storm, ended 1991 when President George Bush declared a ceasefire and Iraq pledged to honor future coalition and US peace terms. So just thought we'd share those bits of history in light of what's been happening recently. Here's another bit of history, which ended tragically, this one. 1993, the year 1993, agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms raided the Branch Davidian cult compound in Waco, Texas. And by the way, we have shared on this program before the Jamaican connection as far as Waco, Texas is concerned. We'll perhaps come back to that. So here's the story. Agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms raided the Branch Davidian cult compound in Waco, Texas, prompting a gun battle in which 4 agents and 6 cult members were killed. The federal agents were attempting to arrest the leader of the Branch Davidians, David Koresh, on information that the religious sect was stockpiling weapons. A nearly 2-month standoff ensued after the unsuccessful raid. It was against this background that the federal government obtained a warrant for Koresh's arrest. To Koresh, the failed raid served as proof that he was really being persecuted. We'll tell you more in just a moment.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. Singers, songwriters, and producers, it's your time to join greatness and history. Be a part of the exciting Diamond Jubilee Jamaica 60 celebrations. The internationally acclaimed Jamaica Festival Song Competition is now accepting entries. Add to the historic movement of the competition. Join the ranks of notable artists such as Roy Ryan, Toots and the Maytals, Bushu Banton, and Statius. Record your original song, upload and submit your entry. Visit the JCDC website or our social media pages or any JCDC parish office for details.
The Gleaner Premium will excite your digital media experience, satisfy your appetite for exclusive stories and special access to editors' forum, videos, podcasts, and much more. To subscribe, go to jamaica-gleaner.com/premium and select the e-Gleaner or website
Both
option.
sides of the story.
Welcome
Good
to your
afternoon.
new digital experience, the Gleaner Premium.
Prices start as
Yes,
low
sir.
as US $2.99. Sign up today and keep
I
up
am
with the
fine,
Gleaner's
thanks. But
18.
we're not on air now. And there's another call before yours as well. So if you don't mind holding, the choice is yours, but you could hold if you wish. Okay. ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:29. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:29. Tiens, Tidian le Wu Dien Cha Shi Jiao Fen. 29 minutes to 5 o'clock, and the time just changed. Make that 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Can we just complete this bit of history? And then we go to the calls in just a moment, quickly. So we were recounting what happened as far as the storming of David Koresh's compound, the Branch Davidians, and that it was the federal government obtained a warrant to arrest Koresh. To Koresh, the failed raid served as proof that he really was being persecuted. Again, the year is 1993. When federal agents moved in to end the siege on April 19 with tear gas, a fire broke out. Koresh and about 24 others shot themselves to death or were shot before the fire engulfed the entire compound. Others died in the fire or the rubble of collapsing buildings, bringing the death toll to 80 Branch Davidians. Only 11 Branch Davidians escaped with their lives. Ultimately, 8 cult members were convicted of charges ranging from manslaughter to weapons violations. So that's how it ended up after the raid of the Branch Davidian cult compound in Waco, Texas, on this day in 1993. It's a good time to remind ourselves that the city of Waco in Texas was founded by a Jamaican, Jacob de Cordova, Decordova, Jacob de Cordova, the Jamaican who founded Waco in Texas. He was born in Spanish Town on the 6th of June, 1808, Jacob de Cordova. That's the same Jacob de Cordova who founded the Gleaner in 1834. And as we've told you before, Waco was not the only place in Texas developed by Jamaicans. Dallas, Texas was another. The Dallas family from Jamaica played a key role in the development of Dallas, Texas. Let's go to the phone lines, 876-922-411225. And we also have a call on WhatsApp, but the call on the phone line came in before the WhatsApp call. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Malcolm, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Somewhat trying to understand certain things, and try to suss them out. Because I hear some quarters talking about they want taxi fare to raise and bus fare, right? Now, traveling around Jamaica, everybody has different rates because I travel from Ocho to Yuatan. Straight is $500. You go by taxi, take two different taxis, you pay $400. Now, most places do not give back fare from Port Antonio to Boss Bay. Some guys take $300, some take $250. From Boss Bay to Anata Bay, $190, they're taking it $200. From Anata Bay to Port Maria, $240, they're taking $250. So they are getting something from the passenger. So why would they want to get a raise? We the passenger are getting a raise. 1 week, I for a month, I was in a specific area. Every day I go to work, I sometimes I have to change. And the driver refused to give me back the $10. And when I calculated that amount, it was $3,600.
There's an app, if you're up to it, there's an app that the Transport Authority has introduced. I have it on my phone. I haven't had reason to use it. It's called Drive Safe. The Drive Safe app, and you can, where your rights as a passenger, as a commuter, are being breached, you can take a picture, you can videotape, and you can upload it to Drive Safe, the Drive Safe app. That's one immediate solution. Or if you want to get in touch directly with the Transport Authority, but we have to move beyond just complaining after the fact. And I'm not being specific here to you. I'm just saying in general terms, we must take advantage of the avenues that are open to help to protect our rights.
I have never used the app, but I called the Transport Authority. Mm-hmm. I spoke also with the person in charge about several issues, and things remain the same.
No, but that's the thing. It's the spoken word as opposed to something in writing, something that is tangible, a video, a picture of the license, the registration plate. Did you provide all of that?
I do that in the past, many times in the past, and things remain the same. I have license plate numbers, send it to them about drivers and a kind of abusing the passengers, and they were still on the road. Nothing was done.
Well, in that instance, I would have to say, I'm just trying to, that sounds like it sounds like you perhaps would need to just make that information public. In other words, you have called this talk show, you have the opportunity to write a couple of letters to the editor. Nobody likes to be shown up like that. So the Transport Authority will respond, no doubt, to a letter published in the paper that speaks of of their neglect or not taking to another level the information that you supply. On the face of it, that's as much as I can suggest at this stage.
Some time ago, I wrote to the editor telling him to take a look at the saltwater issue in Eastern Portland. I haven't seen anything published in the paper. I haven't heard of anything further. And I sent back the email to the person 2 different times and no response.
Well, we have 2 major newspapers in this country. We have close to 30 free-to-air radio stations in Jamaica. We have at least 4 free-to-air TV stations in Jamaica, plus multiple local cable channels. Plus, we have access to all the social media platforms you can think of. Plus, the Transport Authority, I believe they also are on social media. It seems to me that you might want to keep all your options open and just send out information on all those platforms.
Well, I sent to a few, but not all, you know.
What's that?
I sent to a few.
Mm-hmm.
Because the sister station TVJ came to Portland, East Portland, and did an interview with the saltwater issue. Here on TV, and it still remains the same. Neither the Water Commission and MPA is willing to tackle the issue, communicate with the people, and let us know what is going on, what they're doing.
Yeah, well, it requires a level of advocacy which the average person cannot afford, apparently, because the average person still needs to eke out a living, and that's part of it. So they can try the various channels that are open. We see people do it all the while these days on social media. If a company did something wrong, or if they had a bad experience, they take a picture of the vehicle or the registration plate and put it out there. And chances are there are others who, upon seeing this kind of information, might very well have had a similar experience. There is strength in numbers in that regard. But as I said, the average person is busy taking care of bread and butter matters.
Yes. So, you know, the thing is that for a little country, we know we have problems, but we don't have to make them so obvious in the sense that we don't really pay attention to what is that can be fixed without money. Some of the things is that everything money. Some problem can be fixed because whosoever is put in authority must do their job because they're getting paid to do their job.
Yeah, that's how. And in an ideal world, the hope is that we will raise more men and women of integrity. The more of those we have, hopefully, the less problems.
I totally agree with that, sir. Have a blessed evening, sir.
Thanks for the call. Same to you. All the best.
Thanks.
Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Let's go to the WhatsApp line. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Yes. Listen, I just want to use your media here to find out from the Commissioner of Police. What is the charge for these bikes and cars that put on some switch and who is it impersonating firearm?
I think that matter is addressed in the new Road Traffic Act. I think that's addressed in the act. There is punishment for that. I'm not sure if the act has been fully operationalized. I'm not sure.
But I think it is a nice amusement again. So in fact, even if they don't come up with that, you're making that extra nice and disturbing people. A matter of fact, but I realize they are doing it close to the police station to just mark the police as if they are puppets. Because from where me is, every other 2 hours, 3 or 4 might have just come down and just create those sounds for at least 15 minutes and move again. And the police station is just about, I would say, half a chain. So I don't understand. If it's a violation, as if they're turning them back against it or what, I don't know. Somebody need to, who in charge of operation catch up, need to say something. Because to be honest with you, I believe that these people in charge.
We're going to need a series, I believe, a series of features in order to go through the various aspects of this new Road Traffic Act, and let's see if we can arrange something in that regard. But it is an offense. Yeah.
If they don't disturb other people, they don't feel good.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
What is what I'm saying, Mr. Malcolm, as if they realize that the police is turning them back against it. Time if they hear them just drive past.
Yeah, well, we don't know that. We don't necessarily know that it's a deliberate act of ignorance, but clearly, the noise nuisance needs to be dealt with. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. The February 5 off 50 sales event at Home and Things is here. Take $5 off every $50 you spend. Save big on the brands you know and trust. From beautiful Spanish and Brazilian tiles to exquisite bathroom fixtures from Sedosa, American Standard and Corona. Stylish Moen and American Standard faucets. Doors, windows, paints, and home decor treasures that inspires beauty and elegance. It's the February 5 off 50 sales event happening now at Home and Things. Old Hope Road and Constant Spring Road. Catch it while it lasts.
Singers, songwriters, and producers, it's your time to join greatness and history. Be a part of the exciting Diamond Jubilee Jamaica 60 celebrations. The internationally acclaimed Jamaica Festival Song Competition is now accepting entries. Add to the historic movement of the competition. Join the ranks of notable artists such as Roy Ryan, Toots and the Maytals, Busha Banton, and Statius. Record your original song, upload and submit your entry. Visit the JCDC website or our social media pages or any JCDC parish office for details.
Waste and Save. Learn more about various assistance for farms and residential use, assistance in getting NEPA licenses, and monitoring and characterization of your wastewater. Tune in to Rare Business this and every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for Manage Your Waste and Save. Brought to you by
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 13. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5 heures moins 13. Tiens, TDN Wu Dien Cha Shi San Fen. 13 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Let's continue with the call. Are you still there?
Yes, Mr. Malcolm, we need some help, man. We're going to have to get some police here to come here to help these police here. Because we need the outside help, man. We need the help. We're going to have to take this thing like a club where you can get people from elsewhere to come and help. You can't depend on just the village alone to play for us. We need it more broader than that. The government needs to get some police here, and we need them to come here to help these police here. Because it can't continue like this, Mr. Malcolm. How can you build a country in a thing like this? Everywhere is disturbancy.
Yes, we have our fair share, more than our fair share of noisemakers in Jamaica, apparently. We'll try to protect your hearing. Whatever you do, protect your hearing. When you hear it coming or you see it coming, protect yourself.
It happens so some that are frightened every time, Mr. Malcolm.
Yes.
It make me frightened. And sometimes I don't see them.
Yeah.
A personating firearm like this in the village, man.
Yeah, that one is even worse. With the motorcycle simulating gunshot sounds. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, keep up the advocacy.
Rise up, man. Rise up.
Keep up the advocacy, but we have gotten some assurance some time ago that with the new Road Traffic Act, that matter is not going to go unnoticed or undetected or otherwise dealt with. So let's see what happens from that. But we need to go through that act in the form of a series. Thanks for the call. Sorry, understand your frustration and your concern. And there are those of us who feel that way too, because some of us don't like noise. A lot of us, actually, more than enough of us don't like noise. And so there's one set that loves noise, and another set that can't deal with too much noise. Let's keep up the advocacy. Thank you for the call. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Hello to Marjorie James. Good day, Mr. Malcolm. I messaged you December 28, 2021. Read the overcharging by taxi operators and minibuses that ply the routes Papine to Two Paths, Hall's Delight, Dallas Castle, and Constitution Hill, Papine to Ligony, Halfway Tree, Crossroads, and Downtown Parade, Papine to Mavis Bank and Irish Town, etc. You had forwarded my message to Transport Authority, who responded to me saying they'll investigate the matter and address it. Today, February 28, 2022, the matter has still not been addressed, and people are still being overcharged, not being given back their change, and most of them are telling people the fare is $150 up from $100. These are the red plate taxis, Hackney taxi, route taxis, and the mini yellow buses, which are the legal public transports, not to mention the illegal ones. They're demanding and cursing off people when they give them $120. We need the law to deal with this unlawful activity. If I pay $150 per day upon taking 4 taxis back and forth, that is an extra $120 from my pocket each day. That $120 would value $600 at the end of the week from Monday to Friday, and for the month, it would value roughly $2,400. The calculation is in the least because some people have to take more transport per day and travel 7 days per week. People need to speak out and understand that when they save these money and invest, they will get good returns. The transport operators are also gaining from $20 per person on each trip or $80 per trip. 15 trips for the day will gain them $1,200. Multiply that by 5 days, $6,000. So everybody gains if we do the right thing. Transport Authority, please deal with this matter. I have also called several times. Thank you, concerned citizen. So concerned citizen, we're going to send your message over to Petra Keane Williams of the Transport Authority. Another message: good afternoon, teacher at class. Well, appreciate the history. Good afternoon to you. Thank you very much. And let's go on. More messages. Roy Lawrence says, good evening, Professor. I don't hear any expression of outrage for the war victims of the war in Eritrea, Sudan, in Africa. I'm sympathetic to victims of war everywhere. Gracias. Roy Lawrence, we haven't heard your voice on any of those. It's the first time we're hearing you mention those wars. It's an indictment on all of us, Roy Lawrence. And you can't escape it either. And this message from GMAC in the Cayman Islands says, "Hi, Dervan. Big up my colleague and fellow optimist, LTG Patrice." Lorna says, "Hi, Uncle Dervan. Please let me talk to the landlady after the program. I have a problem. Thank you." Well, we'll send your contact information to Calicia Findlay. And Lorna also says, "I went to Frankfield from October to look after my something. I'd say I would get it in January. And up until now," oh, this must be related to land matters. All right, so let's see. Let's send it on. Let's send on your message to Calicia Findlay, see what she can make of that. And let's send your contact details as well right away. Share contact. Not that. Let's do this. Share. Come on. Let's try that again. Sometimes switching between an iPhone and a Samsung, you end up wondering if it's right. Now we are there. So we're going to send it to Calicia as well. So she has your contact details, Lorna. Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary, says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Happy Monday to you and your listeners. First, let me join the rest of the world in condemning the action of the Russian president against Ukraine. The USA is also condemning the action of the Russians. Is there a difference between Russia invading Ukraine and the USA invading Iraq or Grenada? Just asking." Clarky Bless, Hunstown, St. Mary. Well, that discussion would have to be had tomorrow, all things being well. But definitely not right now, because we are just about getting ready to wrap. Jamaican, big up the show, says this listener. Thank you very much on WhatsApp. Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon. Hello to you as well. We here are suffering. Garbage truck, no garbage truck for months. Okay, so National Solid Waste Management Authority, Belle Plaine in Clarendon, garbage collection problem. Belle Plaine in Clarendon, garbage collection problem. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Monday, the 28th and final day in the month of February 2022. Yes, it's that time again. February, 28 days. Remember what we learned in school? 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31 days, except February alone, which has but 28 days clear and 29 in each leap year. Thanks, everybody. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
Must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years must a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? How many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer
Bye.
is blowing in the wind. The answer